basically on these outer points.
Yeah, that 12% is just because they left the point pretty early to kind of get in position, which maybe could have held a little bit longer, but doesn't really matter. And again, the fight here up on the high ground to be, they are going to be pushing for it. It does look like we have the Mahiro on the other side, the big punch, and that's why Ashamar is so good on this map. That is the perfect angle, the perfect range for the punch shot right there. You can see that extra health from, oh, okay, we're going to see the Screaming Nimbus. You can actually knock a lot of people into the wall here, into the water. Regardless, it doesn't even matter.
Unclumping, right? They're not allowing themselves to get one shot by that Ashmar punch. Nice Trans Am engage there. There's going to be a 2-for-2 exchange, but looks like maybe, quite possibly, a first team fight win going on over. They still have three G maneuvers. Peppermon, Carl Sagan, the unseen threat.
And here we go. We see actually the Methus boosted Exia here, but not able to get anything as we see 2 picks from Bitey on the turn A. 3 picks now from Bitey on the turn A.
It's going to be traded back and forth, actually. No one finding a pick quite yet, but they are grouped up here on the right-hand side. And Zeros will be able to find one. Batty finds one more for his squad. Off of that mega health pack, but as they charge forward, the axe doesn't quite connect. That's the C-Snare coming in, and they're able to charge in with that follow-up. Great utilization of that Marasite ult. G maneuver ready, pop, the push out, 1 shot left, basically remaining there. As Fusion Blackie does find one with that overhead throw, but Ceres will fall once again. Batty coming up clutch, and he has been a one-man army. I think there are going to be a few trades. The turn A will get onto that A site, get that plant down.
Up here to stop this. Like you said, you can hit so many at once. Whoa! So much damage.
Like a bad plant for them. They have been able to turn around. The turn A butterfly ultimate coming down as well. As this is such a fractured fight. It seems like there's 6 individual fights going on with turn A coming in to clean up all of them.
This was entirely, it was one person that set up the bomb. It was one person that defended the bomb as everybody else got back. And then it was that big G maneuver that defended the bomb fully from the entire team fight. That was like MVP moment. It's time for grand finals here at Gundam's Grace. We have fought through the entire bracket over the course of the past 2 days, and only 2 teams remain. It's going to be Team Sucky Vacuums going up against Team Bork in a rematch of Winners Finals. But once again, to bring you the final set of the day, I am Evan, Wonder Chef Hashimoto, joined by James Jamerson Lee. And honestly, I am thinking this is going to be a lot closer than we saw in Winners Finals. I think that all of these teams that were honestly even within the top like 4 at least are very close in skill to each other.
Yeah, and things are going to be starting off a little bit differently. I mean, after the first outing between these two teams, you know, you have to imagine that Bork have a different approach, especially when it comes to the map picks and bans. After that first match, it was a 2-0 in favor of Team Sucky Vacuums, and so you're going to want to try and change things up. We did get to see, of course, the Sazabi versus Sazabi list compositions in this matchup, and I think it's going to remain true when we go into this finals match as well.
Yeah, I mean, we did, of course, see them on 2 game types. One of them was a little bit weirder, I would say, because of course it was on Ministry of Defense and that was a destruction mission, but the just nature of that map makes it a little bit weirder. And then on Domination, of course, we did see an R&D lab between these two, which was a little bit more of a standard map that we tend to see. But if we do see any other maybe a little bit longer maps, I would potentially, you know, I could see some changes going up. We've seen some GM snipers a little bit more this time than previous, but again, of course, this is going to be a 3 out of 5 set as this is grand finals. So we're going to start off with the ban on Mountain R&D lab, not going back there.
And that's understandable because Bork did send them to the limit. And it was the first time we went to around 3, I believe, as well. When it comes to Mountain R&D, we very rarely get to see a round 3 on Mountain R&D. And we were particularly talking about whenever it would go down to that B site, it became very scary. And it was definitely more in favor for Bork whenever they did get that B side, but whenever we had the outside, the A and C points, that was kind of 50-50 between both teams.
It was, and yeah, I know they don't want to take that chance. Then also on the other side, I'm assuming that this is a ban from Bork, as I would assume that you would do everything in your power to get back here if you were Team Sucky Vacuums, but we are going to see Ministry of Defense banned, and that means our first map pick is going to be Underground Command Center. We did just see that pretty recently, but again, that's going back to a little bit more of a neutral map. So both of the maps that they played on, I think both of those teams were like, let's not risk that again, and we're going to see an entirely new set of maps going into this, and Harbor City actually as our guaranteed second map, so that's pretty interesting.
And surprisingly enough, I believe Harbor City was actually the ban for Bork in our first match, in that first best of 3. But this time around, they're deciding to actually take it on over there. So I am definitely surprised by that. Map number 3 is going to be Thermal Plant. And so we will see the Domination map coming in. And that is the pick coming out from Team Sucky Vacuum. So second pick. I mean, we are going to, of course, see all these maps. If it does go to map number 5, it's going to be who wants to try and maybe finish things out on map number 4, if that's a possibility. And it looks like it's going to be Flak Fort, and the decider will be Quarry in the end.
Nice. So that means that at the very minimum, we're going to see every single game type between these two teams, even if it does go to a 3-0 in this set, which is really great to see, right? Of course, we're going to be starting off with the destruction mission, then we're going to be going to the point capture, then domination at the very minimum, and then Flag Fort and Quarry, of course, we've seen them as more of the, I would say, some of the more neutral maps in the game, so I do love them as kind of the deciding factors if we go longer in the set. But I guess let's talk about the first one, Underground Command Center, right? We've seen them before when they played, and it was a destruction mission, but like I said, it was a little bit of a weird map being on that R&D, but we are seeing a good amount of teams go to this a little bit as the tournament has gone later on, and I do like this map a lot. I've been really liking the way that a lot of these teams are trying to approach specifically Point A, right? Point A is a very interesting spot here because you can, or it's not Point A, but the first bomb sites. You can go around the corner to B, upstairs. You can push really heavily through A, just through that front door, just with a blitz. You can try to sneak around through the side to get to A from behind and kind of get behind the defenders. So I really like this point a lot, especially just being able to watch it. I'm not sure which of these teams are going to choose, but I'm sure it'll be entertaining.
Yeah, on the defensive side, remember for Bork, they were the team that was actually rocking that Gem Sniper and well into the game as well before I believe a swap off was ultimately made. So they might rely upon that just a little bit more here. So that might be a consideration that Team Sucky Vacuums have to keep in mind that maybe, you know, if they go on the attacking side, they might want to answer in kind. I mean, especially when it comes to Underground Command Center, I feel like you should at least try to open up with the Gem Sniper, because you can just go ahead and run back to the spawn if you don't end up getting that initial pick, and then going back to your normal composition.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about these two teams together is that they're the two teams I would say that we are probably the most confident that they're actually Gem Sniper players on, right? We, of course, have seen, like you just said, we saw in that entire last set, the Gem Sniper from Bork, but then Carl Sagan using it on Harbor earlier, and then, of course, being able to use the turn A as well, so definitely strong within that role overall. So I wouldn't be super surprised if we did end up seeing it. I would also be not super surprised if we end up seeing turn A's instead, as that can work in multiple different spots on this map, but just the fact that both teams have that available is pretty interesting. You know, it's going to be a slightly different thing that you have to think about, because a lot of these teams seem like, even in spots where, like we've even seen on Harbor, spots where people didn't choose Gem Sniper, where that's such a popular pick for that first point. So we know these teams have that available, and I expect to see at least some form of it, whether it's actual Gem Sniper or turn A.
Yeah, and I can understand why, like, maybe you wouldn't want to do the swap off, just because getting that G maneuver meter built up is extremely important in these fights, that they can be so game changing, and especially when you want to just maybe expend one or two early on to get that initial push and then kind of try and snowball from there. So I can understand why you don't want to sink too much time into what you would eventually swap off from. But I would like to see, if this just comes down to sniper battles, you know, enemy at the gates, I would love to see that kind of gameplay end up kind of devolving here in this series. Yeah. Because again, Gem Sniper is still one of my favorite units to utilize here in Gundam Evolution, and having Carl Sagan on it was a great sight to behold as well. And I feel like we just haven't had enough of that gameplay. But it looks like we are ready for map number 1 in this best of 5 here in the grand finals for Gundam's Grace.
And speaking of the sniper, we are going to see it here on the defense, which is not going to be super surprising, but we are going to see it out of Carl Sagan. So we know that Bork was comfortable picking sniper on defense here. Now we know that at the very minimum, Team Sucky Vacuums is also comfortable picking it on defense here. So, you know, you might get your wish, that enemy at the gates type sniper battle. Let's see. Yep, I think that there's a pretty high likelihood for that. So I'm very excited to see it. I also really enjoy this suit, and I enjoy watching, of course, the ridiculous players just be able to click heads.
Yeah, Gem Sniper versus Gem Sniper, unless they swap off here, but with 4 seconds remaining. Again, you almost lose nothing to at least try to take a few shots from in here. You don't quite have the sight lines, but you can just instantly dash on back. They're being kept at bay. It looks like the focus will be on that high ground. There's the initial pick, alternate, finding that knock onto Listic, but it's a 1-for-1 exchange as Buddy does end up going down. They need to start now making their presence known here on the height, and it will be Exponent going up there, and it's already been vacated.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people just sitting on the waypoint on defense, but I don't know if they can hold this for very long. We've seen a lot of times there's just so many different angles. Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, we're going to see Tizim picked off by the sniper. We're going to see actually just a repair, a range repair, I think that was, actually onto Tizim. Tim's like, die by the sniper, live by the sniper. But they're holding pretty well, honestly, here for a spot that people tend to get run over on a little bit.
It was a good body block as well as that repair was coming through, and so the Suzabi actually showing the value of having that big tanky body with that shield up to make sure that you're able to get that through. And so they're going to be able to force them back to spawn. You can see a very aggressive push actually coming out from Tizim, and does secure at least one more knock, and does delay things just a little bit longer. Only a minute has been ticked down though, but there it is, 2 picks coming out from Bork here on the offense.
Yeah, that is sometimes all you need. It does look like they're going to be a little bit more aggressive. We're going to see the Exia push, but it's just going to be, yeah, full retreat, I think, on the defensive side. They're saying, you know what, we don't want to get wiped here. We don't want to get staggered. We've seen that happen a lot. A lot of times the first big push for that waypoint clears out half the team. They just continue forward, stagger them, and then get the bomb plant, which then essentially goes off. So I do like that defensive option, but now we're going to see a pretty big push all the way over here on this left side.
Wall hack almost up, but Glitch ends up getting taken out as he tries to go into the back line now, focusing down that Suzabi, who has almost no HP left, and he will fall. JP does go down on the other side, though, as Bitey will get cleaned up, and it's Carl Sagan coming in for those headshots to take him out. We do have the repair gun, but it's going to get instantly thirsted as Yuika will fall.
Yeah, they almost had the close range sniper duel right there. I was actually getting really excited for that, but we didn't end up seeing that. It is interesting that we see that we are both still on the sniper here. This can be a nice angle to hold, and you can see even here, of course, I believe this is Tizim's POV, being able to get some really solid damage in as they're running through by holding that outside angle. It's not an angle that a lot of people hold, but it can do a lot of damage.
Sagan finding another headshot there, and that's actually kind of impressive because, you know, alternate on that Dom isn't supposed to be one shot, so it's a team effort there as they charge forward now off the back of that initial pick. They only lose out on Tizim, but not even for long. They'll be able to get the res onto him with the repair cable, and now they're going to try and make a concerted effort to try and get back this waypoint. They will actually be able to secure that.
Yeah, there is going to be one Ashamar caught out. It's going to be Bitey on that Ashamar, and that's going to be a little bit of a stagger, but retaking this waypoint is a really nice thing on this map. There's only about 2 minutes left as well. This can be a really, really hard point to find that push in and find that plant on. Ooh, yeah, I mean, good solid damage on both sides with this harass, but you do not want to be an 800 HP. That's at 10% of that at 800.
Another sniper pick onto the Dom. The Transdom's getting popped from either side. Actually, not quite yet from Exponent. They're just waiting things out. You can see a lot of G maneuvers being expended to this one. Exponent will fall without being able to fight back himself, but it looks like maybe possibly the repair cable or repair gun will come in, get him back on up. But this is a lot of G maneuvers being used once again to try and reestablish themselves on that waypoint, and they're not even winning this fight out-handedly. There's actually a lot of defense coming on in, and they're going to fight over the point and actually take the waypoint away from Bork. Team Sucky Vacuums now playing off momentum, pushing forward. Alternate has fallen as Glitch will go ahead and go down in the back line, but he's done enough as Listic will be able to finish off Exponent. So now we're down to 1 minute remaining for Bork, who have not even been able to plant yet here in the first half.
Yeah, look at this. We're almost on a 20 kill streak for Tizim. One of my favorite players to watch. I actually told him directly. I was like, you know, when I first watched you, I thought maybe you were hacking for a second, but that's just how good his aim actually is. And you can see exactly how that goes into play. And not only the aim, but the positioning as well. And I love in particular his aggression when Hades is up. But here we go. One more push, the Trans Am, and the full fly over. There's a lot of low HP suits right here. This looks like this could be a very effective push. We're going to see at least 3 go down just within this alone, and this might not only be the waypoint taken, but this might be the momentum. Yeah, you can see right here for the bomb plant.
Yeah. So you can see that Exponent is able to charge forward. No, Carl Sagan just lurking behind the entire time, waits until he is immobile and actually denies it. And that is so crucial now because now the rest of Team Sucky Vacuums are actually coming in. It's going to be a full 6-man hold. You can see the long run back. Even though you got this waypoint, you still have to get in. Tizim ends up going down, but no one is able to touch and get the mega charge started. Beautiful hold coming out from Team Sucky Vacuums.
Carl Sagan jump scare right there. Where honestly did he even come from? It's not like he came down one of the sides or anything like that. He was standing in the doorway. I don't even know where he was sneaking around, but that was a huge play. And also there's no better feeling in this game than seeing somebody planting or disarming and you're playing GM Sniper and you're like, oh, they can't move, I'm sorry, and you just get that one tap on them. But wow, that was a huge play. I mean, just so out of nowhere. I felt really confident that that plant was going to get off, but I don't even know where the rest of the team ended up going. So really great first hold, not allowing really almost any progress even on that very first plant. This is going to be a very difficult defensive position for the side of Bork.
I mean, that was supposed to be the waypoint along with the plant at the same time for them, but man, what a huge shutdown coming out from Carl Sagan, which is understandable why he is such a fan favorite so far in the MVP vote. But it looks like we will get the Gym Sniper battles once again, so Bork will opt for that for themselves here on the defensive side, and I feel like with the way this map has gone so far, that Carl Sagan has to go ahead and answer in kind on the offense.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't see that many sniper picks on either side, surprisingly, at the start of this game. I mean, there are some kind of routes that you can get through to not be super out in the open. We saw them eventually, more so once the battle started happening on the waypoint, but at the very beginning, it wasn't super sniper oriented. So I do hope we get to see a few more early 6 shots. I mean, we just want to see headshots with snipers, right?
Yeah, you have to be really careful about how you approach the fights. I mean, a lot of times you feel like you're safe from the sniper angles, but then all of a sudden you're just down. And there's the first knock. Exponent goes down, and they might actually be able to push off this momentum straight onto the point. The Exia is down, and so that's going to allow the Exia themselves to push forward. But Legacy gets focused down. Now that's going to be a 5v5. Wait, what? The zombie picked up by the defense there, and now you can see things are starting to fall apart for the offense. Alternate finds one more onto Nox, and Glitch ends up going down. The repair gun is there for Carl Sagan as he finds a pick himself, but the repair gun on the other side will be utilized as well. But the exponent has, the waypoint has been captured by the offense as Listic ends up getting res in.
Yeah, and again, that was Tizim just with that perfect positioning. Again, one of my favorite players to watch, just at that like 60 HP, managing to sneak around that tiny little wall, use the healing pack, which of course is really strong and getting nerfed in a couple of days, but that is going to be a first early plan. This has to be an immediate defense, or this is going to be the map. There are not enough people. I don't know if this is possible. Every single person up is there for Team Sucky Vacuums. They just need a second more, and yeah, that is just no chance. Like I said, that was too tough of a defensive position to be in for Bork. They had to just really hold that waypoint forever, or just somehow just have a strong permanent hold in A, and that was just not going to work. So great stuff from Team Sucky Vacuums, and honestly, so much of it was that one Carl Sagan snipe moment, just like that. There we go, earned MVP.
Yeah, honestly, that basically saved the round for them at the end, just being able to lurk around on the defense and just stop the planter at the end. I mean, I understand that this is more of like an action shooter, right, and team-based shooter, but there are still a lot of things to learn when it comes to games like CS:GO, in particular for this game mode, Destruction in particular, right? There's so much to learn, and Carl Sagan definitely had that kind of presence of mind to just bide his time and not get over-aggressive on that gym sniper. He did pick his moments extremely well in that first map.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. I'm so sorry, chat, if you remember, remind me. But there was a player who walked forward and like started disarming a bomb, and then just started and then backed up so that it gave the alert and waited for people to drop down in one of the previous games yesterday. I can't remember exactly who it was. I think it was an Exia player, but I was like, oh, that's so like CS:GO, so Rainbow Six Siege-ish. Like, it's just exactly that level of strategy. And you know, again, I love seeing the strategies from different games going into these game types, but yeah, that was perfect. Still, it was well played by both sides, right? It was not an easy defensive victory there. It was just happened to be that Carl Sagan was in there at the right moment. That was going to be a really, really good push, I think, overall on the side of Bork. They had the entire team coming up from behind. They had the positional advantage if they had had everybody there, and that had actually been, you know, enough time for them to get there because of the bomb plant. But it just didn't end up happening, and that's just how things go sometimes. But again, you know, our team that has literally not lost a map continues to not lose a map.
Yeah, and now they are just 2 maps away from walking away as the victors of Gundam's Grace. Our next map is going to be on Harbor, and so if we saw some sniper battles taking place over here on Underground Command Center, there could be some more sniper gameplay, and to be honestly so funny if all 3 maps came down to it. Thermal plant, not quite where you can, you know, play the gym sniper as freely, but there are angles that you definitely can, right? Especially on the side angles.
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying you should play sniper on thermal plant. Okay, I'm not saying you should, but definitely you can like at least stand back from the doors on the points on thermal plant and like aim through the doors and get some cheeky shots if you have like your daily mission. So I would love to see it, but I don't know if we will. But yeah, the first 2 maps for sure. Like this is for 2 teams that we have really strong snipers on. It's dope to see like 2 sniper I guess enabling maps, right? 2 of the maps that we don't see sniper, and we're like, why would you pick that there? So Harbor, we saw a really dominant game, I think, from actually, was it? No, it was earlier on. I think it was against PPG from Team Sucky Vacuums. So they definitely know how to play this map. This is one of their, that's what I think one of the biggest strengths, right? They've shown that they can play really strongly on Ministry of Defense. They can play really strongly on Harbor, and those are the least used maps for sure out of this entire map pool. So I'm assuming that they're pretty much comfortable on every single map, and that is huge because even Bork, who is taking it, you know, to the really close matches against Team Sucky Vacuum, don't have maybe that experience on Ministry of Defense, for example.
And here we go, loaded up into Harbor. It is going to be, I believe, Bork starting off on the offense. Team Sucky Vacuums decided to start off on the defense here. And I'd be surprised if they actually went without the Pale Rider for this one. But we did get to see Bork actually opting in for the Suzabi. And so they kind of want to try and play around that one. And it's understandable, right? Having the tankier body in front of your Gym Sniper, try to obscure some vision in that Gym Sniper battle. But not having the Pale Rider is also questionable.
Yeah, this is overall a strange comp. I mean, I guess I see it. I would hope that maybe there would be a Pale Rider once we get to the second point on this map, if we do get to a second point. But I'm a big fan, I gotta say, of Bitey, because Bitey has been switching around roles a decent amount, actually. We've seen him, I think that was on 3 different suits in the past, but here we go. We're gonna start with this offense, and we're gonna see on the defense, of course, the Sniper. We're not gonna see the Tornado.
Yeah, but we still have, of course, the Pale Rider being utilized here, so just the consistent damage, and it helps out, especially when it comes to the larger health pools of DOMs that you have to deal with. Right now, just Chickle peeking around this corner, and this is what I'm talking about. The consistent damage coming out from Pale Rider makes it so difficult for Methods to keep a team up, and they end up going down. I mean, they don't even have the Methods, never mind they had the Unicorn, but that single target fire, and now they charge forward with the huge HP advantage, with the huge man advantage. They even go for an Eagle Peek up against that Gym Sniper, but they will go ahead and back away and reestablish themselves here on the defense.
That's the rule. When it's a sniper battle, you got to go for the Eagle Peek, you know? Like, it's not something you choose to do or not. Your body just does it. But there we go, the axe going in. We're not going to land on anybody. We did see that surprise axe hitting in one of the previous games around this particular corner, and that was a bit of a jump scare followed up by the Sniper. But here we go, a huge coordinated push around this left side mountain, and this can be a very difficult spot for the Sniper to get the good angles in. In fact, they might just be pushing up on the Sniper, and we're going to see actually, wow, they're going to take down at least 3 people here, or no, now it's going to be 3 people, 4 people on this side of Bork. That's rough.
Yeah, this defense is just so good, and this is what we're talking about. The defensive hold when it comes to playing over here at Harbor City, this is why teams actually play over here in the city side on the left-hand side on the push, just because they can go ahead and back away and try and let the enemy team kind of overextend themselves, right? You can take some damage because as you're falling back, you have so many health packs to actually rely upon. And while you're trading away damage against the opposing side, ultimately you generally end up with the HP advantage if you retreat properly here. But it's also coming down to this Pale Rider has been clutch, not just in the damage department, but we know how strong the healing is for the Pale Rider.
Yeah, which is so important to have that extra healing to stay out there because that run back is so rough. And you do not want to get picked, but we are going to see some picks here. It looks like Keki wins the sniper battle against Carl Sagan with a little bit of an assist, but Carl Sagan goes back up and then gets the counter snipe. Wow, what a storyline within just 3 lines on the kill feed. But they are holding decently. It looks like this push might be the one that makes it. I don't know. This is a bunch of skirmishes in a bunch of different areas. We see Glitch going down immediately. It looks like that's going to be Yuka going down as well, and this probably is going to be the hold. Just so many skirmishes in so many different areas. Oh, they're all on the other side of this building. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Hades is popped here, and he could just get the staggers, but the overhead throw possibly? No. That was the Screaming Nimbus actually sending him skyward, surprisingly enough. Keki does have his ultimate up, which means he can take those snipes from mid-air, but he ends up going down. It's Carl Sagan once again, and this staggered push is getting punished, but they do have the regroup here at the very least on the left-hand side, but now they have to wait for at least Exponent to get onto the front lines before they try and make charge forward. Axe in, it actually narrowly misses. He's gonna go ahead and charge forward. But again, they're doing such a great job on the defense, playing around these health packs now. He doesn't have a shield anymore, and he will get hunted down by Exponent. Clearly trying to play this one like an Exia player here, and they will clean up a few more. But Carl Sagan and Holistic are still alive, and it's just a war of attrition. 2 members on the point is getting contested, and Bitey comes in with that butterfly to clean things up.
Very nice. Yeah, plus of course that Exia just being such a great counter, that shield, but there's still so many people on the point here, and yeah, this looks like there's gonna be a little bit of harassment, but the big fear here honestly is that we did see, yeah, okay, Glitch was over there. I was gonna say if they actually let Glitch a little bit longer, that might have been a really annoying stagger. Glitch still is gonna have to run back pretty far, so they might just blitz this choke point here. We'll see if they even have time to.
Yeah, he's able to get that forward spawn by changing units all the way at the back spawn there, and so he doesn't have to go for that really long run back. They're going to try and jump on over. You can see him getting focused down. Nice scan, though. We'll go ahead and give away the position of, what, 3 members there on the left-hand side for Team Sucky Vacuums, and now Bork pushes forward. Bitey and Kaki have found 2. That's Legacy and knocks down. We'll see, though, the Pale Rider up top. Carl Sagan is able to get a res along with that pick, and he has been multitasking this entire day.
Playing a true support, GM Sniper. But wow, look at this. It's all sniper kills on the feed right now. Okay, there we go. Finally, we're actually going to see a huge amount of the players on the side of Team Sucky Vacuum go down. They're down to about 3 players left, and they're not in a super good position either. Tizim's finally going to go down. Carl Sagan's going to go down. Carl Sagan did at least trade for the sniper, but this is a brawl right here, and it looks like there might be a chance to push up onto this point, although it looks like that wave of respawns might prevent it.
No, the Pale Rider and the Gym Sniper putting in so much work for them. Screaming Nimbus there in close range. I think he actually got the knockoff onto one. Glitch actually might have been the one that got knocked off there, and they will not be able to get the res onto Exponent. So now it's going to be the regroup coming out from the defense here. They need to get Exponent back on in. And he's expending these axes a little bit early just to try and get into the fight and get back to his team quicker. But that does mean Legacy will have a window of opportunity actually win out that duel, but never mind. It doesn't even matter. Tizim is just able to one-clip JP, take him down. It's a 3-for-1 exchange. Only Glitch falling on the side of Team Sucky Vacuums here as they're able to just push them back and now play for that choke once again.
Yeah, he sees him just flying around the boxes, playing like an Ashimar, except you're on a totally different character. Luckily had some things to stand on, and that was a really nice clear. They're going to be pushing Bork all the way back towards this choke point once again, and just the team comp and the level of aiming on the side of Team Sucky Vacuums is going to make this particular choke point so scary. And right there, we're going to see Liston get picked by Keki, but Bitey goes down, Exponent goes down, and okay, getting a little bit of trades back and forth. We're actually neither team's going to have their tank anymore, and Carl Sagan as well getting taken out.
Yep, and it looks like Carl Sagan will get brought back into things. And so this duo of the Pale Rider and the Gym Sniper has been putting in so much work. Again, you use that axe to get back into the front line, means you don't have the stun. If you go into the zombie battles, he does dash away, but he does not have a health pack, and he needs to rely upon the healing there. Tizim ends up finding one with the Hades, and again, another headshot. He's winning out the sniper duels time and again, is Carl Sagan.
Yeah, this is, I mean, honestly, great sniping from both sides. I love the fact that we're seeing this, the committal to both snipers. Looks like Bai's gonna go down. Well, by that throwing axe, the throwing axe was actually the one to take him out. That's a surprising shot. I always love seeing that, but yeah, this is rough. This might not be Exponent surviving for very much longer. There's a little bit of a distraction in there, but there is no health pack available. The rest of the team is not doing super well, but actually gets a little bit of a pick here on Glitch. Kiki's going down as well, but it's going to be at least 4 up, maybe 5 up on the side of Bork, and they're going to be pushing around this building, which can be a terribly painful choke point, but it is somewhat working. They're getting closer, but they are getting picked as well.
Yeah, Legacy is able to find that repair gun, quite possibly can be used here to try and get it back. No, Kaki was just a little bit too far. Trans-Ham popped mid-air, and that is so scary when you're dealing with a sniper on the other side, leaving yourself in that mid-air animation like that, but it wasn't quite punished. Carl Sagan is able to get the res onto Listic, and that's going to allow them to push forward. Listic finding 2 off of that res. They're going to send them packing once more. Turn A shut down mid-air. He does get the knock, but there's the res onto Nox, bringing him right back into things. And now there's only 15 seconds remaining. That means it's going to be a mad scramble to try and just get onto the point, but they haven't even been able to touch it at all.
Yeah, this is not looking super great. That's going to be a pick on the Ashmore, trying to sneak around, at least get somebody on the point to try to break people away from that choke point. But here we go. This is a good amount of damage on Tizim, but the picks are going to come out, and that's going to be almost a full team wipe to end that. And that is 0% going on to point B. Team Sucky Vacuums holding extremely well, like they did on the previous map, but this time on Harbor. I almost want to call this team just Team Right Click, man. Between the sniping of Carl Sagan and the pale riding of Tizim, it is just, you just cannot do anything out in the open. Like that turn A G maneuver got melted in like half of a second. That was ridiculous.
And we already talked about how good the focus fire comes out from Team Sucky Vacuums in the initial fight, right? Or in the initial first map at the beginning of the day when we were on Mountain R&D. The RX-78-2 was brought by Bork. Every time that super napalm came in, Tizim was on top of it. And so the target selection coming out from this squad is just absolutely absurd.
Yeah, they're so well coordinated. On top of being this, this is a really all-star squad. They are looking really unstoppable here. This might be kind of like the new team to beat. I mean, Bork still absolutely has a chance here, but now we're kind of in the same situation where it's been a near full hold in 2 games. Bork did, of course, take that first point, and that second point can be really difficult. This is totally entirely doable. But we got to see who ends up winning in especially these early sniper battles.
So, again, lack of Pale Rider could be the deciding factor here, because it wasn't just Carl Sagan, right? Tism was also contributing very much to the kill feed throughout all of this, but that pair of the Pale Rider and that sniper combo is just so good because, yeah, there are some units that don't instantly go down, but hey, just a few bullets coming up from the Pale Rider will go ahead and finish them off. You get that 1100 headshot onto a Dom or onto the Suzabi, and that's going to basically lead them one shot. And so you really do need that follow-up damage from an additional DPS source.
Yeah, wow, look at this. This is a really confident push forward, just not expecting to even get shot at all. Tizim just understanding the correct angle. Is going to stand on top of this building. It's going to be a really nice high angle, and I don't even know if they realize that he's up there. They realize eventually, but that's already been a solid amount of damage. They're going to have to back up. They're going to have to let all the other people from the other angles come in, and that's going to be Legacy down taking on Keiki. That's going to be actually 4 members now down from Bork. This looks like this point A is probably going to go the way of Team Sucky Vacuums very quickly.
Yeah, Carl Sagan is able to get that repair gun, basically, and get Legacy back on up. And now they're going to charge forward. They don't want to be held at this choke, but they could also use this sightline right here. When the enemies make the cross, the Gen Sniper can go ahead and pick that one up. You do need, I believe, a jump boost. There we go. And use that box, and you can see the instant fighting. Glitch is up there to control it to make sure that the sniper on the other side cannot get a foothold. Glitch does end up going down, but again, maintaining this presence, making sure that Tism is up here to at least try and challenge is so strong for them. Now they've got 6 minutes and 40 seconds to get just 1 tick there on point B.
Yeah, I love the fact that they ran through the choke immediately, like before they even fully picked up the zone, but they were able to be stopped, although right now, I don't know how easily it'll be for them to get stopped. Looks like Carl Sagan goes down again to the sniper. We're still seeing the sniper battles here at the same exact choke point, just on the other sides, and yeah, that is just such a valuable... Oh, actually, Keiki going down, so not going to have that option. The Ashmar flying all the way above. That's a pretty vulnerable spot to put yourself in. Not going to get punished, really smart, going to be able to go back down just when needed. Looks like Team Sucky Vacuums is going to slightly push through this chokehold, but not quite free to push the point yet.
Yeah, they still need to deal with the sniper on the left, and they just haven't been able to get a foothold there on the opposite side. They've been trying to go for those flanks. Glitch has been there as that Axia player along with, I believe the Suzabi might have tried to make his way on over to help him out, but you need just a little bit more here, and you can see why the Suzabi is so crucial when it comes to these sniper battles. Just giving yourself a little bit of an extra angle, but here it is, the Screaming Limb is coming out, but you can see they are split up, 3 on the left, 3 on the right. Ashmar punch just to try and delay things. He ends up getting 1 knock onto Nox and finds the second one onto Tism. Huge play coming out from Yuika there, but it's still exchanges coming out as Listic finds one along with Legacy. They're going to go ahead and charge forward now, use that repair gun to get topped off. It looks like the defense might have been able to hold.
Yeah, they definitely have the numbers advantage. They're sitting back here kind of behind the tower, not letting anybody poke around either side directly. And then look like that, Legacy going down again. They're all pushing forward at the perfect time. A little attempt right here just to sneak by with the Exia, but Glitch is going to go down. And now, again, they're staggered. This needs to be, I think, maybe a retreat into a regroup here. They had some sneaky attempts to get around, but the coordination of Bork on defense here is just really showing.
I could be wrong, but I believe it might be possible to make it from bridge to bridge as an Ashamar. And so if they want to try and go for an Ashmar flank, you don't really have to go over that wall first. I might have seen a clip where I've seen an Ashmar go from attacker's bridge to defender's bridge. Yeah. And that is an option for them to try and go for, especially because you also have that gym the gym jump pad to give you a little bit of extra clearance, a little bit of extra height to go first. But here it is, Trans Am gets instantly shut down. Glitch not getting any value off of that. Bork but a beautiful hold coming out from them. Now they're going to get aggressive, but Exponent does get punished for that. Doesn't matter. Alternate with that Screaming Nimbus will go ahead and clean up the rest of the squad.
Yeah, that is for sure a defensive hold. But to answer your question there, yes, you can absolutely go bridge to bridge. You do flight into your full glide into your flight again, and you don't have any stamina at the end of it, or boost meter, I should say, but you can get bridge to bridge 100%. It's just you are pretty vulnerable the entire time if somebody looks to their left, but we're not going to see that. The Hades being popped here from Tazim, and we'll see if we can get any kills off of this. No! Sniped immediately, and then finished off just barely. So that is going to be, again, another G maneuver completely shut down. It looks like Carl Sagan got a pick, but I'm not sure if there's enough players on offense to take advantage of it.
Yeah, 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining here, and both sides have been struggling to try and get their way over to that B points. Right now, though, there's still plenty of time for Team Sucky Vacuums to work with. They've got the Ashmar Punch. They've got the Unicorn Ultimate coming up as well. And the first knock, Listic going down, getting that repair gun. Remember, it's a super long cooldown, like 30 or 40 seconds. I can't quite remember how long. And so that will be down for them, and they won't be able to use it mid-match. Jump on over. We got to see them before, or at least from Powerpuff Girls. It's still getting shut down, though. Exponent finds one. That's Legacy going down, and so they've got the extra tanky body, but Carl Sagan is able to take him out and still hits him with a headshot.
Wow, yeah, that's a shotgun. It's a shotgun, I'm pretty sure. As long as you hit him in the head, it's like a one-shot close kill, but they are going to get that much closer to winning. They just need a little bit more on the point. It looks like somebody's contesting it. I don't know how long they can contest it for. There's going to be Legacy. We're going to see Tazim pushing forward. A few different other members. Tazim's going to go down. It looks like a lot of defense are going to sit on the point. They're going to start losing a lot of that progress, and they might get staggered. There will be time for another push if this does not work out, and it certainly does not look like it's working out. They're going to have to try at least one more time. That was so close to working.
Uh-oh, Exponent goes down there, but they have to make sure that their Suzabi stays up, and Legacy ends up going down, so that's a 1-for-1 exchange. They're not going to be able to res him either. Bitey has fallen, though, to that Methus. Now they end up losing out on one more, but Tazim, as he tries to peek that corner, gets headshot, and one more. So now it is coming down to the defensive snipers from either side, proving invaluable here as they're trying to fight onto the point, but they do not have the numbers. Trans them in the back line once again shut down. Glitch cannot get anything going so far with this Exia.
Yeah, it's just been such perfect focus on the side of Bork. It does look like there is an opportunity here still. There's a few people up on the offensive side. A lot of the defensive respawns are coming in, though. I think they may have to regroup. They're actually getting picked a little bit here. This is going to delay it even further. Yeah, look at this. This is getting pretty tough. Bitey's going to go down actually now, though, and Expo. So this is actually a really good chance.
Oh.
But shut down to Zim, going down to the snipe. Strong snipers on both sides.
Yeah, just going for these peaks again, you just cannot do it. You need the help, you need the backup of basically your Suzabi player. You need that extra, just a little bit of cover, just in case maybe he eats up that bullet instead with the shield. But oh, a nice Ashmar punch! Oh, knocks them down like bowling pins, and now that's going to stagger them. So this might come down to just one final scramble just to try and get to the point, and they pick up a stagger onto Glitch. Things are looking more and more dire.
I love how I think that was Tazim who was like watched his teammates fall off through the wall. That was a great moment. But yeah, only 37 seconds left. Now remember, all they need to do is get on point and hold it for just a few seconds. It's only one tick that they have to beat. And there we go. We're actually gonna see Expo go down, but Tazim and Listic and everybody else basically going down all at the same time. It looks like that G maneuver was huge. Glitch is gonna try to sneak onto the point with only a few seconds left, but undoubtedly we're going to see the entire team turn around, try to stop him. So many on the bridge. This is the final opportunity to push if anybody can even get here within the next 10 seconds.
Oh boy, that's a 1-for-1 exchange. Nox goes down, but it's Bitey who will be able to get that respawn a little bit faster. Backing away, they're just trying to get onto the point, but they're so low in HP. Legacy, though, and Tism with the Hades now are able to clean up a little bit more, but Tism is still alive. He charges forward. He is on the point. We've got Glitch here as well, and he is the only one trying to take things away. Bitey gets here just in time. The overhead throw as well knocks him off the point. Two bodies are here. Glitch and Carl Sagan get cleaned up, and now the defense are coming back with the respawns, and they will thwart this push.
Oh my gosh, that was so down to the wire. So completely down to the wire. Now, I know it does say, I can't believe so many different funny moments happen right there. Now, it does say draw, but I do believe that in our Tiebreaker production, could we get a confirmation on if that it does actually end as a draw or if that ends in one particular victory? I just want to make 100% sure. I want to make 100% before this thing, but I gotta say, the moments the Ashmar punch over the water on like 3 different people was amazing, and then seeing that overhead grab at the very end, overthrow to just like completely just yeet backwards, get off the point, was so funny. And that's very difficult, of course, to land in that particular situation. Exit can sneak around so quickly, and if you miss it, you're wide open. So really important spot to hit. So yeah, great stuff. And you know, we saw such amazing holds on the side of Team Sucky Vacuums, but Bork there clearly got it too.
And this is actually quite exciting because this is going to be the first time now that means we get to see Lunar Comm Station as the tiebreaker for this map. I know it's kind of weird saying we go to a different map for the tiebreaker, but I'm always there for Lunar Comm Station. It is a map that we have not seen once because it is not in the pool. It is always there for the tiebreaker, and I love it just because it's such a different take when it comes to a domination map, right? Usually you kind of see it like it's a horizontal symmetry when it comes to the map design, but this one, it's a vertical symmetry, and then you have the points in that also same vertical kind of approach. And so you have all ABC lined up for you. Teams can fight initially out the get-go from spawn. I love this map.
Yeah. So that's the kind of like the tiebreaker situation. I think, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember exactly what Craze called it when he first announced it. But if we do end up going to Lunar Comm Station for this, it's a really interesting map because it's so different from domination, the other domination maps, I should say, because of the run that you have to make to get to seat, right? Like the fact that it's like vertical and both spawns are on the sides rather than just the horizontal is so interesting. And we tend to see, I think, some different suits because not only that, since there's so much wide area on both sides and in the middle of each of these points, we tend to see some closer up matches. But yeah, so can we get 100% confirmation? It looks like there is confirmation in the chat that we are going to Lunar Comm Station. So I'd love some confirmation just again from production just on exactly how all of this works. Like if that is a win, is that just the second win of the game for one of these teams? Just since we're not quite at the end yet, but regardless, I mean, I'm glad that we're seeing the life out of Bork. They had some tough spots, but that was such an impressive hold.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch. I mean, especially with how the sniper battle was kind of favoring Carl Sagan at the end of the defense. We have to understand that like the defensive sniper is much easier to play than the offensive sniper, right? You're waiting for teams or opponents to kind of walk into your sight lines, which is what we got to see a lot of. Tism ended up walking into a lot of sight lines of the enemy sniper there, often there. And so it is a little bit easier to play, but either side, honestly, it was a very commendable effort from both Carl Sagan and the Bork sniper.
Yeah, that was really good. Really, so many picks from both sides. Now, okay, I did get confirmation that so that map was considered just again not a win or a loss for either side. It's not like it's going to be a double win, and then we're going to go to a tiebreaker or anything. It's just going to be overall just one exact tiebreaker for that game. So that means that the score should still be 1-0 on the side of Team Sucky Vacuums. And here we go. We are here on the Lunar Comm Station. We're going to be starting with B off the bat, it looks like. So that's going to be the middle situation, the middle spot, and we're already getting into it. So let's see. We're going to have an RX-78 on the side here, but we are going to have to wait to see the other comp, I guess.
Yeah, neither side really opting for that initial fight right at the beginning, both of them taking the left and the right-hand side respectively, but you can see now that they're going to fight over this high ground initially, as they do have that heal pack thrown down first. There's as many to utilize here, and it's already been popped on the left-hand side as they try and charge forward. It's going to be the first pick coming out from Carl Sagan. He's on that Ashmar, and Ashmar is such an incredibly strong unit here on this map.
Yeah, this is, you can see that the King Comps is very, very different, and look at this. These up-close spaces are going to treat a lot of these units like Sazabi very, very well. We're going to see a lot of kind of like side pushes. You know, there's the opportunity to flank from the forward angle, which is a weird thing to say on this map because of how it's laid out, but here we go. We're going to just see so much damage coming out of the Sazabi. Exponent taking down 2 players, still, of course, sticking on the Sazabi from the last map. It was working out very well, fully understandable, but 2 get picked up as well.
And so now with 25% here for Team Sucky Vacuums, they're doing a great job. They might actually be able to get the full 46%. We do have that right-hand side getting pushed now, but it looks like they're already setting up for A, which is so super important, but it's so easy for the transition to take this high ground. I don't know why that you would be up here. It has that lone tank on Exponent. So 2 crucial picks. They get the full value off of B, and they'll have full control over A.
Yeah, now, of course, A is one of the... It's a very different site than a lot of the others. I mean, this is, again, you've just got very different sites on all sides here, but A is so close to the spawn. This tends to be the brawl spot. We are going to see Tizim go down. We're going to see, actually, a decent amount of players on Team Sucky Vacuums go down, but this is going to be so many different brawls, different skirmishes in different areas here. It looks like we see the activation of the G maneuver from the Unicorn, I believe. It's kind of hard to see if that's actually what that was, but we're not seeing any kills from it.
Yeah, it's these last picks, though, that are so crucial right now, and getting that pick onto Carl Sagan will give them numbers advantage. When they get the respawn, they're right back on point. Exponent trying to hunt one down, but the Screaming Nimbus comes in. Gaki does end up getting that kill onto Legacy, though, but maybe they trade back onto Exponent. No, he stays alive. The Unicorn ultimate being used as well, but there it is. Glitchstream comes in with that dash, is able to clean up 2, and it is going to be Team Sucky Vacuums that end up flipping the point on over, only giving away 3% there on A, and the next shift will be going on over to C.
Yes, we are going to get every point all in a row. Yeah, you see this offensive hold trying to stop people at their spawns. This is a really obnoxious spot to get held at because when you're out running outside of your spawn, there's actually this like long walled hallway in a weird way that you could run forward. If you get hit, you have to run pretty far back to get the heals again, and that's why we're currently seeing so many players just be annoyed trying to get in there. Nice, picked out of the air. Very nice from Tizim.
The A to C transition is so hard for the team that has to try and retake because you can see the sightlines are right on open. That Pale Rider just gets free shots as they try to make that swap on over, and that allows them to find the picks and then move early on. 22 seconds left, and I'm surprised that he's actually lurking behind here with that Hades available for himself, and he does spot out one. He must have heard him, but he ends up losing out on that duel. Glitch is here, though, to back him up and get that res, bring him back on into the game. Now that leaves only 4 players onto the point as it unlocks, and now the funnels are going to be utilized here by Exponent as he tries to take this duel up against his opponent's side. The Sazabi will go down. Bitey finds 1 as well. It's going to be Moist, though, with the Unicorn ultimate that finds 2. And now they finally get a foothold on a point.
Yeah, huge team fight win here. I don't even think they lost a single person going into that. It was really well coordinated. There was actually pushes from different angles, and that's one of the scariest things about C is that you can push from a lot of different angles. They're going to be holding, of course, just on C. You really don't want to have to try and run back or hold a forward position because you essentially are leaving yourself just wide open. But it's very hard to push. This is supreme high ground if you own this spot.
Now for the retake here for Team Sucky Vacuums. They are onto the point. They almost actually flipped it. A nice flank coming up from Tizim. Ends up getting that knock onto Moist. They end up losing out on Legacy, but it's still a 2-for-1 exchange, and they have the numbers advantage. The point is still getting contested. There's really only 10 seconds remaining onto it, so they don't really want to expend anything here. Just pick up whatever they can, maybe get some staggers, but the run back to A is going to be so much more important as they try and retreat. They don't lose out on any bodies. And now they've got the team basically split up. You got 2 members running into A from that C side, and oh my goodness, the armor gun just in time to keep Tizim up, but they lose out on Glitch. It's a 1-for-1 exchange as Exponent falls, and now you can see trying to take that duel up against that Ashmar as he falls back for another heal pack. Throughout all of this, Carl Sagan knocks all of them, picking up more kills onto Bork Gundam. So now Team Sucky Vacuums will have the man advantage on A.
Yeah, and maybe even more importantly, having that man advantage means that you can try to push for that high ground, which is a very not vulnerable high ground, a very safe spot to kind of hide up there. There's not a lot of sight lines to it, which especially if you can get, yep, you can see right there. I was about to say you can get the Pale Rider up there. That is huge, but Exia, of course, playing from behind is going to be a great answer for that.
But he gets instantly focused down. The entire team turns around onto them. Trans Am popped there. for Team Sucky Vacuums, and now with 99%, there it is. The Gundam Ultimate comes in, but I don't know if it picks up anyone here. It's going to be Team Sucky Vacuums taking the first round here on the tiebreaker.
Yeah, this is another one of those maps, I think a lot like most of the domination maps, but this one in particular, maybe not quite as much as Mountain R&D, but maybe more so than the other, is a spot where you can go from one point if you're winning to the other, especially, of course, if you're in the middle point. The I guess lines of transportation are very, very clear, right? Like you just walk up one ramp and suddenly you're at the high ground for A if you just won B. Or if you just won A, you can just walk down the ramp and suddenly you're at the high ground for B. So this can be a map for sure that can be run away with if you start taking the momentum, if you start, just holding the high ground and move to the next one, especially with how far the runbacks can be. If you start winning at, for example, C, you can stagger their entire team, and then once it switches over, they might not all be in the same position to push back to A or B. So it's certainly an interesting map. It's very unique amongst all the maps, but Team Sucky Vacuums, of course, just playing extremely well. It's so hard to beat a team that's so mechanically strong on any domination map.
Yeah, C is such a punishing point to actually lose a fight at, especially if you're the one that's if you're the team that's trying to go for the retake. But here we go, I'm going to the second round now of Lunar Comm Station, and it's going to be fairly similar. This time around, it's going to be over at C, though, that our teams have to rotate into, and we have the instant X coming out. I imagine that's going to be from Exponent, because he has been a player that does go for a little bit. No, never mind. It's actually going to be the Team Sucky Vacuum side, and they're going to go ahead and flip all the way down to the lower side, take that jump pad up. We have the Exia battles, it seems like, on the outside here on the hunt for the flank.
And I think we have a slight change. We don't have the Suzabi anymore on this side. We do have the Mara side, though. And I'm going to assume that this is going to be the switch back from Expo to go back onto the Exia. I'm not 100% sure. I guess we'll see pretty soon. It does look like we are going to see Glitch go down, though. And actually, we're trading I think it's a 2-for-2 right now. So they are just fighting so hard for this C point.
Yeah, but they get the res onto Tism, which is so important. The Pale Rider coming up, that's going to allow them to have the extra heals on the point, the extra damage as well. And now Exponent goes down. So the C, once again, it's such a brutal point to lose. And so that's basically the entire 46% that should be coming in. And right now you can see they have to set up for A so early on.
Yeah, that is, like you said, it's very punishing. Like, if you lose C, you have to make an awkward decision. That's really what it comes down to. And they made the decision to just immediately move to A, but also, it seems like Team Sucky Vacuums decided to move to A immediately, so I'm not sure which is for the best, but oh my gosh, everybody's all in the same little hallway up here. I'm surprised when people didn't die quicker. Exponent is going down, though. Yuika is going down as well, so Team Sucky Vacuum is going to continue to, and then taking down Bitey, continue to hold this A high ground for quite a while at least.
Yeah, what I'm wondering is if Team Sucky Vacuums even left anyone at point C, because it felt like all 6 members were here, and it was just such a foregone conclusion that they decided, yeah, they're not even going to send anyone here. We know this. We kind of read their minds, and they're going to deal with this. The Flyers, though, giving Tism a little challenge there, but Carl Sagan with a 3-man punch comes in and just shuts down this push as the point unlocks. That's going to be an easy take for the Sucky Vacuums.
And Carl Sagan adding yet another, I guess, suit to the roster of suits that he's used within this tournament by adding that Ashimar. Unless it was an Ashimar earlier that was just for a little bit, but that's extremely impressive. You very rarely see the punch finish blow up, but here we go. The Trans Am to try to retake this high ground. It's going to work essentially pretty well, taking down 2 people at least up top. We're going to see the no Dom as well to add to the armor, prevent this damage. And this is one of those spots where we're going to see Expo's extreme aggression work out very well. That's going to be a retake. There's still a decent amount of time left on this. They're probably going to hold it and then have to transition over to B pretty soon.
You can see that the move is already being made on the other side from Sucky Vacuums. They were moving in from the left hand, and oh boy, you got to be careful there, Expo peeking 3-man, and Moist did not get the memo there as he tries to charge on in. Will he be able to find anything at all? No. The Unicorn Ultimate will go ahead and finish him off. Now Yuika is able to pick up 1, but I believe they might be able to get the res onto him. Never mind, he finds a second one with the help of Alternate there, but the fight over B is not quite over yet. Screaming Nimbus has been popped as well, and here comes the run back now. Alternate finds 1 more, but he ends up falling. Glitch Stream picking up 2 here. Point still hasn't even unlocked yet, and they're still fighting over this. Trans Am has ended as Glitch gets taken out, and Legacy will fall as well. The res is coming through. They cannot deny it. Exponent goes down as Carl Sagan brings Glitch back up.
Wow, this fight is just never ending, but you can see at least finally 4 members have grouped up over there, and we are going to see them push onto the point here. This is going to be Tzim, who is just tracking all of the people trying to fly over the sides. Glitchy moving into Hades, and this is a huge pathway down to a lot of the enemy team members. This could end up with a lot of kills. They're all going to back up, but it doesn't matter. We're going to see a pretty aggressive chase from the entire team here from Team Sucky Vacuums. That's going to be at least 4 down on the side of Bork, and they are going to hold B for so long. And I love this, a really aggressive hold to try to stop people from even making it back as they're trying to take this tiebreaker round here. They only need 1 more percent. Can anybody get on point in time?
The flyers are there. Yuika touches it, but that's all as he gets instantly melted. 3 members, 4 members down, and now it's left to just this Dom who's not even able to get a toe onto the point, and that will be Sucky Vacuums winning out on this tiebreaker and now securing the 2-0.
Wow, they again, you know, I really have to look back at that particular moment where at C, you pointed out so correctly that they were like, oh, we have 15 seconds left on C, let's leave, you know, let's move over to A already. I think that shows again that Team Sucky Vacuum has just a ridiculously high level of experience on every single map. They feel so confident in all of their calls when they want to rotate on even literally the most rare maps. Like this isn't even in the map pool, right? This is only purely a tiebreaker map. I love that we got to see it, but they were ready. They were ready for every single situation on this. They're ready for Ministry of Defense. They're ready for Harbor. Like, they have just been so expansive in their knowledge of everything, but that doesn't mean that they're going to go up 2-0 in the set.
Yeah, I think comprehensive is like the best way to put it, right? It's just the well-rounded knowledge of basically every map so far. They play this one out extremely well. Again, Lunar Comm Station's still one of my favorite maps, and I'm so glad that we get to finally see it after, what, 4 tournament days that you and I have cast over the last month? Yeah, over the last month, because we had Halloween Havoc delayed just a little bit here in November. So I'm so glad we finally got to see it, but I mean, such a dominant performance there on both rounds coming out from Team Sucky Vacuums. Now it's coming down to match point and tournament point here for them in this final map. I'm trying to go back and figure out what the 3rd map was. We're going over to Thermal Plant to finish things off, and it'd be poetic if we ended where we started the day.
It would be, but also I feel like if you are Bork here, you got to be scared, right? You just play against Team Sucky Vacuum. You do very, very closely on Harbor. You're like, okay, we can take them in these long fights. Then you go to a domination map and they dominate, right, on the domination map. And now you're like, okay, well, now for our final potential map of the tournament, we have to go back to another domination map, and you have to immediately make that adaptation. So that's a scary spot. But also, just before we get into this next game, I got to give a shout out. We had some huge donations. We had Unruly, we had Baddie, we had Spoo, and we had oh my god, I'm gonna say your name totally wrong. Tisan Luxic SN. I'm so sorry I'm saying your name wrong, but all of them donated at least. Wait, is that Lux?
That's Lux.
That's Lux. That's not how it's supposed to name. It's not supposed to name, but that's at least $100 from each one of them into the prize pool for these players. So huge shout outs to all of them. Is that really Lux?
I believe so. I believe so. And I did misspeak, or at least misremember. We started off the day with Mountain RD, but it's still domination for domination. Thermal Plant is still going to be an exciting match to look out for. Again, this series, despite it being a 2-0 so far, has had wonderful moments from both sides. So I'm still excited, even if this goes 3-0 in favor. If this goes 3-0 in favor of Sucky Vacuums, I'm still super excited for how this match has played out.
Yeah, I agree. Especially, I'm really glad that we got to see the Harbor City match. We got to really see the strength of Bork in just how effectively they can deal with a lot of the different offensive strategies that we see out of Team Sucky Vacuum. So that was really them showing, like, we can stand up to you toe-to-toe 100%. But the question is, how can you deal with such strong mechanical skill on these domination maps? So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but Thermal Plant, it's pretty different, right, than what we saw in the last map. So we'll see if there's any sort of changes as far as like suits, right? The run back to any single spot is not as far as the run back to C on the previous map. And we see a lot of these like closer range suits, a lot of flankers more on this map. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just been such a standout performance from either side when it comes to these domination maps. We saw how tough it was actually for for Sucky Vacuums when it came to Mountain R&D. There's a reason why they banned out Mountain R&D. So these domination maps are so scrappy between both teams. It just felt like, yeah, there was a little bit of a better understanding, but also kind of a little bit of the snowball effect when it came to what Lunar Comm Station can be because of the nature of the spawns. So I fully expect that Thermal Plant will be completely different. I feel like it will be a bit more on even footing when it comes to it because, again, the nature of the vertical versus horizontal symmetry in the map design.
Yeah, and you could tell too, aside from the fact that I said the team Sucky Vacuums was obviously extremely confident in all of their plays there, you could also tell that Team Bork might have switched things up a little bit. Obviously, they changed up their lineup, so maybe they're thinking like, well, let's try this, and obviously trying things works sometimes, but you got to make sure that you're confident in your choices, and it just feels like there maybe was a different level of experience on the map. So hopefully this time around, it's a lot of experience from both sides, which it probably should be since it is part of the normal map pool.
Yeah, so just a few more seconds before we get into the next map, and we'll see if, of course, Team Bork Gundam can send this over to a map 4, maybe even get us to a map number 5. Well, it all has to start here. It needs to be the perfect reverse sweep for them to try and keep their tournament hopes alive. And right now, though, it seems like our tournament favorites, I mean, our first team that we looked at when we came into it, just seeing the star-studded roster like you can constantly call them because they are that. They have been absolutely dominant, haven't dropped a single map yet. I mean, the closest is the draw on Harbor City. That's the closest they have come to bleeding so far.
Yeah, not even necessarily a loss. They just didn't win for once. But yeah, like honestly, if we had the Olympics of Gundam Evolution and we had to send a team of like, well, I was gonna say US players, it doesn't even work because they got like legacy and stuff in there. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily work. But if we had to take like some of our top players, like an all-star group from all the like GENL tournaments, like that wouldn't be a bad one to send, right? Of course, there's a bunch of amazing players, and there's a bunch of amazing players that we actually aren't seeing this time around. So I'm really hoping that we do get to see a lot of these players come back next time. For example, like Spoo, like I don't think was in any of the teams that I noticed, or we've seen a few of the different players that were on, for example, like Bozos or Inarizaki that haven't come back, and hopefully we see them soon. We miss you all. We miss seeing you play.
Yeah, again, sometimes like the timing just doesn't quite work out, right? We did have a major holiday here in North America, or at least here in the United States, and so some people might have had other obligations to do, and we completely understand. So you take your time with your family. But here we go. We are loading into our third map of the day, Mountain R&D, and we do have the Zaku range sighting. And I imagine, are you seeing that Mountain R&D thermal plant? And I imagine that this is probably going to be Bork Gundam actually popping that one out.
Yeah, that's probably we're gonna see. Well, actually, no. This is a slightly different comp than they've had before, even when they did bring up the Zaku range. So I'm not sure exactly who's on what. Yeah,
it's Sucky Vacuums that's actually popping the Zaku range here. Listic ends up picking up 2 there on that Dom, fighting over that range top, and this is so surprising. So no Pale Rider actually coming in for Thermal Plant, which is so surprising because it's so strong on every map, but in this one in particular.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying something out here. I mean, if you get Tizim's tracking on the highest DPS technically suit in the game, and if it's in that range, that is maybe one of the scariest things I could ever think of. If I want to see one player play this suit, it's probably going to be Tizim. So I'm excited to watch that a little bit more. But we're going to also see the Zaku 2 melee. We're going to see the gun tank. I don't even know what's going on with the comms here. We're just having some fun. We're seeing some new things we haven't seen all day.
Oh boy, that's a 2-for-2 exchange. Keiki has gone down along with JP, so the fight going a little bit in the favor of the other side until Exponent is able to even things out. But throughout all of this, they've only gotten to the point for about 6 ticks now. They need to stay alive. Alternate finds one onto Glitch as Exponent falls as well. Both X is now out of the fight, but it's going to be the respawns coming in. That Zaku 2 melee, what can he do? How long can he delay? And he's actually doing a great job of delaying until he ends up going down. So Bitey does buy a little bit more time for his squad, and now we're going to be swapping on over to point C.
Yeah, this is definitely doing as much damage as I thought it was going to do. I'm surprised that they put Keiki on the gun tank. That's like one of their best like head clickers, like with that extremely strong showing with the GM sniper. Surprised to see them on a suit that doesn't require any aiming to hit them at least primary shots. But I'm interested to see how C is going to go. C is usually a pretty polarizing spot here. Some of the teams are particularly better at C, and right now we're actually still going to see the 2 players from Bork go down before they even really get a chance for it to open.
Yeah, that's going to be an instant take coming out from Sucky Vacuums there, and they are expanding upon their lead. Transam is available here for Exponent, and he is getting the target super low. You can see that he's just chomping at the bit. Transam has been used here, but they lose out on alternate throughout all of this, and now they have backed away. They do find one knock onto Nox, but they don't get any value off the Transam. Unfortunately here, Exponent does in the end get one, but he gets taken out by Glitch himself, who has been the better Exia so far on this map.
Yeah, just been in the right positions, and they are playing a lot flank here on the side of Team Sucky Vacuums this time around. So this is going to be really tough for them to deal with if they can't watch both their angles, you know? I mean, having two people flank from different angles at the same time can be, oh my, that damage is so disgusting. You just instantly die. I'm telling you, this is the strongest melee weapon in the game, but yeah, not gonna be able to escape this Exia. Already using the smoke grenade, is eventually getting chased down. One of the biggest reasons I think why we don't see more of that is because of Exia's, more of the range Zaku. But here we go, A is going to unlock soon, and we just have such a heavy lead here for Team Sucky Vacuum.
Yeah, 73% to the 17 of Bork Gundam. They end up losing out on their Sazabi. Now they are delayed, and at such a crucial time too, 12 seconds before the point unlocks. No, they actually are able to find one more, unfortunately, there. And so Exponent will get cleaned up. He did not have that health pack to fall back on, unfortunately, now, as the respawns are coming in, but they just need a full regroup. They basically have no time here. It's going to come down to one final push to try and take over the point, but that can't happen. You can't lose out on your tank.
Oh, we see the Screaming Nimbus go all the way into the spawn, basically. That's how aggressive that was. Just saying, go all the way back. You cannot be here, but Glitch taking down so many suits. Three suits alone just from one moment from Glitch. It looks like maybe even potentially a fourth right after that, but look at this. With all this damage coming out, they are just not able to make any sort of push. This should be it. I don't even think they can get on point at this point. Just completely controlling the door for A, and that is first round. Very solidly to Team Sucky Vacuums. They only need one more round to become the champions.
And it's so hard to call what like went wrong, right? I think part of it might have been like, I don't want to say the counter picking, but the surprise value of them swapping off onto Zim, right? I feel like maybe he thought that the rush was a little bit too strong coming out from Bork Gundam, and he felt himself getting focused down on that 70 or on that Pale Rider a little bit too much, and so he wanted a little bit more self-reliance, a little bit more mobility on that Zaku 2 range, or if they just fully wanted to just go for a little bit more of a rush composition themselves. And this is great. Having that gun tank, if they stick with it, does provide that extra bit of utility, that extra little stun that you can charge in with his team. So there's just so many things going on here. I don't know if we're ever gonna have the time to break this all down.
I know. Stop switching. Stop switching. Give us a break. Come on. Do your casters a favor. No, okay. It looks like we are not going to go. Okay, they're just trolling at this point. It's like, oh, are we gonna go gun tank? Are we gonna go Zaku 2 melee? No, they're gonna go the exact same comp that they went last time. It makes sense. It worked really, really well. Now on the side of Bork Gundam, I think there's a good chance we're gonna see some switch. Mahiru, no way.
They are out the gates with, and so they've got the Mahiru for this one. So this is a map where Mahiru actually just shines because there's so many angles, so many funnels, so many choke points that teams can play off of. But he needs to land those Nendo grenades. It's not quite buffed yet, and he does not he actually misses the stun onto that one, taking a lot of damage as they try to approach, but they get the first knock. That's gonna be Glitch going down. That's gonna be a 2-for-2 exchange, though. As you can see, Tism is able to find one more along with their Dom going down, and so they're gonna send them packing. And once again, it's gonna be Sucky Vacuum taking the point first.
Oh, just melting. Not able to actually quite get the finish there on the Unicorn Gundam. Zim going down to the Unicorn Gundam in the end. Just a slight miss, but still, regardless, it looks like Team Sucky Vacuum is going to be holding on to that point for the first segment at least. There's a few run backs, but I'm not sure if Gundam's going to have the power to push back in. I do think this is probably one of the best spots for Mahiru in the entire game. This particular spot on this map, because this choke point right here, there's so many people running in there for the health pack, and then on the right side, you can kind of stop them from entering in one of their two areas. But right now, actually, we're seeing a pretty good example of that. None of the big stuns landed, but this is going to be at least looking like probably a retake for Bork Gundam, or I guess I should say a take, since they haven't taken anything at all.
Yeah, this is just a really good stagger, and Carl Sagan ends up actually finding two off of that. Tism is here for the backup, so they don't even get a single percentage point here on A, despite fighting so roughly for it. Now we're going to be sent to the opposite side of the map, point C. We've got 2 G maneuvers available here. It's going to be the Heat Axe along with the Ashmar Punch, large CCs, large linear CCs coming in for this squad. And C is definitely a point where you do want a large linear CC.
Yeah, this can be a weird one from a hero though. Oh, nice, going with the full G maneuver, and that's going to at least kind of help pull down to a slight numbers advantage. But Carl Sagan, again, taking down so many units all in a row. I don't even know what it was that time. Must have been the flame grenade, but this is going to be a huge numbers advantage for Team Sucky Vacuums.
It was the punch axe combo, the patented punch axe combo coming in. That's what we were talking about, the 2 G maneuvers they had available, and well, they were all lined up for it. You can see that they were biding their time, waiting for the full grouping, and they were able to establish dominance with that. Now they do have the Screaming Nimbus coming up along with that Trans Am. The funnel's almost available as well for the Suzabi, but they might not even need it. Tism just charging forward, he's fine too. That's gonna be Exponent and Kaki down. The third one quite possibly, but he will ultimately fall, but the value has been earned from him, and now they clean up the rest of the squad. Only the Suzabi left. And now point C just going almost fully in the favor of Sucky Vacuums. It's going to come down to A once again.
Yeah, and this, again, this could be the final point of the tournament. We're not going to see too many switches on the other side. It does look like the Mihiru was dropped. They're going to go for a little bit more towards their more generic lineup, but this is their last chance on the side of Bork Gundam. They have to win this A point. They have to hold it for the entire 100%. Basically, there's very little leeway, and we're going to immediately see Tizim with the push forward. Can it take out the Exia? Whoa, nice iframing through with the smoke grenade. Really strong play, ending up really low, but not going to either, fall to anybody, but still Glitstream taking down some others while this is happening.
When it comes down to the schoolyard brawl, though, it's just going to be Sucky Vacuums being the bullies here. And now with the point taken, it is just a matter of time. The 3-0 almost coming in. Tism still alive. The Heat Axe to get the final finish there onto Keiki as Yuika will fall as well. The the Mega Health Pack being fought over for now, but overtime ticks away, and that's going to be Team Sucky Vacuums securing the 3-0 win here in the Grand Finals.
Just as dominant as we expected on the domination maps. That looked so convincing, but they didn't lose a game the entire tournament. They did not drop a game. They got 1 tie, which is still very, very impressive from Bork Gundam. I think that was some of the best that they played throughout the entire time, but they just weren't able to match this new Team Sucky Vacuums. Of course, they were the champions of the very first tournament of this series, the pilot showdown with some slightly different players, but now they are potentially looking even stronger with just this group of all-stars that are looking unstoppable. Just like I said, their mechanical skill alone is ridiculous, but they've proven that they have also that synergy in comms, that synergy, the unspoken synergy. They're ready to focus on things that happen without even having it be called out. We saw so many times where something would pop up, either be an Exia or a turn A G maneuver, and they just immediately jumped on it, which is just no time to actually call that out. So just an amazing team, easily setting themselves up as the ones to beat, and now the only team to have won 2 of these tournaments so far.
Yeah, and in the way they did it, a 3-0, that's just a standout performance. I mean, I was expecting this to at least go, I guess technically it did go 4 maps because of the draw and because of Lunar Comm Station, but you know what I mean. I was expecting it to go to a proper 4 maps, maybe even 5, especially with the kind of fight that Bork had at the beginning of the day when we started off in the winners finals there on Mountain R&D. They put up such a scrappy fight that it was such a close 2-1. It was absolutely insane.